here with a new video. I received a little intuitive nudge to broadcast this one live, to upload it, because I was thinking about my experiences in life and just the world in general and the stuff most of us go through. And it really helps to reflect on talismans of wisdom that maybe we've been resisting. And one that comes to mind is the famous quote that most of us know. And it is this. And actually doesn't have anything to do with looking up my nose to see my nose hairs. So I apologize for that. I'll bring out the machete later. But anyway, minus that little bit of humor as we have the little folks waddling around, the little people, the little doggies. I wanted to talk about the quote, discuss the quote, and most importantly, how this quote reflects back to you as your life and learning from it. And it's this quote, which is a classic. If you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. So we've all heard it, and it's like, ha, 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 very funny. And it's cute, and we think, oh, yeah, that's true. And then most human beings, through the ego, see at that point, instead of seeing, okay, where, how often, how frequently has this quote been replaying truthfully, honestly, in my life for days, weeks, months, years, decades. You see, guys, you and I and the world in general, we tend to want to do things egoically, meaning the ego, me, Ryan Biddulph, time-space creature, mine, I want this in the world, I want that in the world. We can talk about fame or money, but ultimately it's just, I want to do what I want to do. So you and I and billions of minds out there, again and again, sometimes once, usually not, sometimes 100 times, usually not, and sometimes thousands and thousands of times, and sometimes beyond. Sometimes it just seems to be the whole life, right? We have these egoic plans that we're choosing. We're choosing these plans through the ego, and we expect something to work out a certain way solely because we're doing things egoically. We're ignoring the intuition, or we're listening to it a little bit of the time. We're listening to inspiration. We're listening to Holy Spirit a little bit of the time. Jesus gives you a nudge, or Lord Buddha, or whoever, quote unquote. And then we might listen a little bit, and then we scramble back to the familiar, comfortable insanity of the ego, which sets plans with worldly egoic expectations. And then when these things don't work out, and they almost never really do, well, they never really do, because the ego is an illusion and the egoic world is an illusion. So it won't give you lasting happiness and peace and joy and all that good stuff. It'll be ephemeral, it'll be transitory. Then there's just all of us, we've experienced it. Utter disappointment, frustration, depression, hopelessness. And it's because we think we have these plans. Hold on a second, guys. I want to put something out. I'll be back in a second. Shoot. Oh, well. Okay, edit that later. Okay. Hold on a sec. I'll be back in a sec. I'll be back in a moment, guys. Still with you, folks. Still with you. Thank you. All right. So we think we have these plans that are egoic and the Holy Spirit intuition. Gut punch. It feels like being punched in the gut. But the gut hunch, the gut pull is pulling us in a direction to do things, quote unquote, I mean, it's all mind, that give us the greatest happiness, peace, freedom, sense of fun, sense of enjoyment, sense of playfulness that benefit everyone with no plans other than wholeness, completeness, happiness, love, and all the worldly stuff's taken care of by spirit because it knows it all. It knows what you believe in symbolically, what you could use, the worldly stuff. Yet, you have to begin, guys, looking at your life experiences on a day-to-day basis, sometimes an hour-to-hour basis, and then start rewinding and look back how many times you are setting egoic plans with egoic, all expectations are egoic, but with these expectations. This is how things are going to go. This is my plan. And then the joke is, see how God laughs at them and just how they don't work out, how the ego expected. Nor should they have worked out because your happiness wasn't there. Look back day to day. Disappointment, frustration, agitation, anger, thinking your life would go in a different direction. Anytime you're depressed, let's put it this way, blanket. Anytime you don't feel pure love and bliss and peace and joy, you're listening to the ego, which will send you on a wild goose chase of your egoic plans based on your timeline. And the quote is, if you want to make God laugh, show him your plans. And look at how many times your plans, egoic plans, not listening to spirit, ego, guidelines, timelines, how maybe made God laugh, quote unquote, or it was funny, but it wasn't quite funny when you felt crestfallen or depressed or enraged or hopeless or even suicidal because you had your egoic plans. Then you look back at your life and like, man, how many times have I really been disappointed and depressed and frustrated? And that's always a sign, guys, that you're not listening to your intuition. You're not listening to spirit. You're listening to the ego, which, as the Course proves, the Course in Miracles again and again, not proves, it just is what it is. It's a death wish. It doesn't work. It's not happiness. It's fear. It's separation. It's scarcity, poverty, struggle, depression, failure. It's just bad feelings. The loving, fun, peaceful vibes are when you listen to the intuition. You listen to the Holy Spirit. You listen to inspiration. And you trust that, and then you keep doing that routinely, not once a week or once a month. Oh, elevator service here. Hold on a sec. My look. Sorry, kiddo. It's a little elevator service for some tiny dogs. I lift them up. One older dog that can kind of get up on the couch. So, guys, this won't be a long one. Just, it came to my mind, this famous quote. If you want to make God laugh, show him your plans. Think how many times you plan things egoically, not through the inspiration, intuition, Holy Spirit. And in so doing, 100% of the time, it led to disappointment, long haul, unhappiness, frustration, fear, agitation, whatever. And it just never really works, because even if in the rare case you reach your egoic goals, you see the goal doesn't give you happiness. It doesn't give you peace. It's the only thing that gives you love and happiness and peace is listening to the Holy Spirit, which guides you through love to help. and to have fun. That's the only lasting peace there is, which eternal, goes beyond this, illusion of a human lifetime. Other than that, it's going to be a laugh fest with God, and you'll see it's just you're running into these problems, guys, because you're listening to the ego, which has been duping you, bamboozling you, sending you on a wild goose chase. You have these plans. God laughs, but the ego doesn't. There's a lot of frustration and struggle and disappointment. And these moments of struggle are invitations for you to start delving into your mind to see the stories, like based on the video I did yesterday, the stories you keep repeating to yourself based in fear and scarcity that are just, it's almost like a tape recorder. It is basically in your mind where you're repeating them to yourself. And then you look on the screen of space and you keep having these experiences which feel really depressing. So you don't change the screen of space. You don't change the movie. You change the projector. If you want to change a movie in a movie theater, go up to the projector. I know it's more digital now, but old school, and you change on the reel the actual film on the projector. You don't try to tear apart the screen. It's coming from the projector. It's coming from the reel. Ditto for your mind. So you want to have fun. And if you want to be laughing instead of having God having a chuckle, quote unquote, at your plans and not be depressed and upset or disappointed, start listening to your intuition. Listen to inspiration. Listen to spirit. Do what feels fun and freeing, and maybe what feels very uncomfortable and scary on some level, because it's going to be so weird to do things that feel fun where you're not expecting to get anything out of it. You're going to cultivate these skills of trust, knowing, believing in something invisible. And then from there, life will get easier and easier because it'll feel better because you're trusting spirit. Think about the quote, guys. I'm going to roll. Until next time, enjoy paradise all.